This is going to be the perfect example if I manage to explain it right. Now, chest press, in fact, any sort of pressing, I've always been very good at. Leg pressing, shoulder pressing, and especially chest pressing. When you become very good at something, when you start to really enjoy something, it becomes your favorite exercise. It becomes very difficult to come to terms with things when you hurt yourself, when you make a mistake, when you become injured, because you can't do what you enjoy anymore. You can't do what you're good at anymore, and it does affect your ego. It also affects your confidence, especially when there's other people training around you doing more than you on that specific exercise. You know, it's a big blow to your fucking ego. But you really must learn to train smart. You really must learn to push your ego to a side. Just because you've injured yourself, maybe you've pulled your muscle, maybe you've torn your muscle, maybe you're recovering from an operation. It's more likely than not that you will recover and you will gain that strength back again. If not, become even more stronger. I know, for instance, when I tore my chest, I tore the muscle fibers. Now, yes, I still tore it off and I still had to have an operation to reattach it, but it wasn't the tendon, it was fibers. So I had to have a specialist surgeon, because a lot of surgeons can't apply stitching to fibers, because the example they gave me, it would be a bit like butter going through a knife going through butter, but stitching or reattaching a tendon back onto a bone is a hell of a lot easier. The recovery time is a lot quicker, and in most cases you do recover stronger. With a muscle fiber tear, it's a lot more of it's a slower process, right? There's long and short of it. Now, I did the muscle fibers and I recovered, and over a year and a half, 2 years, I did become stronger. I started to do the same weight as what I was doing, and then I started making gains again, which was fucking great. And then, what was it, about 4 or 5 months ago, before we did this extension on this part of the gym, I was bench pressing. I started getting stronger again. I started getting my confidence back again. I believe in not doing 1 rep maxes. I like to do heavy weight for reps. That's what impresses me. That's how I've always trained, and that's what I train for. I managed to get up to like 4 plates either side, and I think we did 10 or 12 sets I think the highest amount of reps was 12 reps, and then by the time we got to the 10th or 12th set, we ended up doing 6 reps. Then I did an extra set, and I felt we'd go pop, pop, but not just one pec, both pecs. I thought I'd tore the muscle again. I hadn't, I just pulled it. This was especially difficult because I couldn't get any work done on it. Like, I couldn't have any sports therapy on it. All I could do was rest. I couldn't even train other body parts. I could probably do 1 exercise on maybe 3 body parts. So arm curls was okay because my arm was in a set position, but anything where I'm raising my elbows, it was very difficult for me. However, over the last 3 weeks, I've started to increase, and I've started to increase the weight when training chest. Now, I started getting a bit frustrated with training chest because I hadn't trained it for that long. The very first week I trained it, which is 2 or 3 weeks ago, I did no more than 10 kilos either side on the Smith machine. Then last week, it increased significantly. I worked out that training, doing single arm presses, whether it be on shoulder press or whether it be on chest, ended up being a lot more comfortable for me. So this one's a strange one, and those of you, and this video is for those of you with chest injuries or shoulder injuries, because I'm getting a lot in the comments and a lot of inboxes asking about specific injuries. I'm not a doctor, I don't know about your injuries, but I'm telling you what I've worked out and what works for me. It's become apparent to me that I can now increase my weight significantly on dumbbell presses, single arm. I prefer doing that now because I'm not neglecting my core as much as what I would do normally. We all do it. It's like training back. We concentrate on the big lat muscle, but the the lower back we tend to neglect. Very few of us end up doing hyperextensions at the end. We all know we should, but by the time the workout's done, we've put all of our effort into the drop sets and supersets of the bigger exercises and the bigger muscles. We forget about the smaller ones. And it's similar really with chest and with shoulders. So we neglect our core. So I do like now doing the single arm dumbbell presses. But I have worked out, even though I could probably now go up to, I mean, what was I doing before? I could do quite comfortably 60 kilo dumbbells for 20 odd reps. But now I'm up to maybe 35 or 37 kilos on single arm presses, which is fucking incredible over the 3-week period. However, with bench press, I've struggled. And the reason why is because of the smaller muscle fibers that are trying to support the bigger muscles, okay? This is what you need to work out. Even if you start finding that the single arm presses are benefiting you, you really still, and you're not so strong on the bench press, doesn't mean, oh mate, Dave, I can't fucking do bench press anymore. We'll just stick on single arms. We'll just do the exercises where we can lift more weight. That is not the answer. You want to do them exercises, but then also mix in the exercises that are a little bit uncomfortable, but just drop the weight. So I've gone up to 10 kilos either side for the first time on the bench press, and a 5 now, and that is my absolute max on the bench. But I'm only going to do 3 sets of that. I'm not going to do a drop set. I'm just going to take my time, and I'm not going to push my luck. After doing that, then I'm now going to go back into doing single arm presses on the dumbbells. So what I'm doing is I'm working them smaller muscles that are supporting the bigger ones, and that is key to getting over any injury. And that is what I'm trying to explain to you. It's okay resting. It's okay taking your time back, and it's okay working out what works for you, like I have done. But when you do work out what works for you and what's more comfortable for you, after a week of doing that or 2 weeks of doing that, start mixing in the exercises that are a little bit more difficult for you, you know, on a smaller weight. And trust me, you will recover a lot quicker and a lot stronger. But of course, that's just my opinion. What do I know? Have training, baby.